Man, here we are, boy. Go Tar Heels. Hey, man, you know, anytime I see something like that, I get excited, dog.
Oh, yeah, man.
Them Tar Heels, baby boy.
Man, shout out to the Tar Heels, dog.
Yes, sir, man. UNC.
Yeah, man. How you doing?
Yeah, man, it's that time of year since you're going to bring it up, man. It's ACC tournament time now.
It is. But first, we got some get back we got to handle on Saturday.
And we gonna get it. That's for sure, man.
Man, before I tell you about my week, because, you know, I got to ask how you doing and everything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like brothers don't check in
I'm
on each
not
other.
doing too good right now, man.
Okay, how you doing? What's going on, man?
I'm not doing
You having
good.
a good week or what?
I was up until about 10 minutes ago. I wore, this is the Gastonia Honey Hunters shirt.
Yeah, it's fire.
I mean, you know.
Shout out to the Honey Hunters.
Honey
Hunters.
Hunters. Go out to the stadium. The season starts April 21st.
Yes, sir.
Honey Hunters, you know, it's going to be on Minor League Baseball in Gastonia. Shout out to Brandon Bellamy. The only one of the two black owners in professional sports, Brandon and MJ. So,
yes, sir.
But I was doing good, man.
Mm-hmm.
And LG knows I was doing good.
Okay.
Until Jay Hill said I look like Satchel Paige. His joker said I look like Satchel Paige in this, man.
I'm sorry, dog.
Man, that hurt me right there,
I'm
dog.
sorry, man.
And then I kind of caught myself a glimpse over it. I'm like,
yeah.
I do look like Satchel Paige. I like, man.
Hey, you need
that's some cold stuff right there.
No,
man,
man, ain't mean like that, man. Satchel Paige had a glove like this, though, too.
He did, man. He did. That
like
thing
Charlie
hurt,
Brown.
man. That hurt, man.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah,
I didn't mean like that. That's a great black man.
I had another shirt. I was going to put the other shirt back on, man.
Nah, man. I'm just, hey, I couldn't think of nobody else, man. Who you want me to say?
No, that's the problem. You couldn't think of nobody else to compare me to. That's all right, man. I'm going to keep this on. Honey. I'm gonna keep this on, man. You ain't gonna scare me out of my attire.
Stop acting like that, man. I'm sorry. How you doing, man? You have a good week?
It was a great week, man. It was a great week. Kind of, tough overall, man.
Yeah.
Because of what's going on in the world.
Okay.
But otherwise, a great and blessed week as always,
Okay.
man. What about you?
It's been a good week, man. Man, I'm getting old, man. My knee's been bothering me for the past week, man. I've been trying to start running again. You know, as soon as it started getting warm, you know, brothers want to go back to the gym, man. And man, I just woke up one morning, that knee was just like, hey, bro, you know what I'm saying? It's a little swollen down here, bro. What's going on? Yeah, so, but other than that, man, I've been great, man. It's been a great week. I started my week out. This is why I got this, man. You know, people don't know this, man, but everybody in this room, me, Graham, Ken, are huge UNC basketball fans. Well, UNC. Ken had the illustrious pleasure of attending the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. I was born a Chapel Hill fan, man, and I couldn't wait to get here this week because, man, I went to the game on Monday night, bro.
I saw that picture, y'all, man.
Man, you should check my stories, dog. Grand saw my stories, man. I was in there. Yo, Ken, I gotta say this. Shout out to my little cousin, man. He's a grown man now with kids, but my little cousin Matt Davis.
That's who was in the picture with you, right?
Yeah, that's my cousin, man. Like, I remember when he was in his mom's belly. He's 10 years younger than me, and man, he met.
That would make him what, 62?
Yeah, 55. So, but he took me to the game, bro. And he had some great relationships. I felt like I was rolling with you, man. He took me in, dog. We went in. I can't even tell you all the stuff, man. We skipped past a whole bunch of folks, man. Went through security. Took us in there, man. We got banned up. Buddy walked us down the steps, man. I was right behind Jim Boeheim's bench.
Man, you look like you were in an unauthorized area. When I saw that picture, I was like, that don't look like the regular ticket.
That ain't the
regular ticket holder right there.
Listen, man, VIP. Oh, we rode on the parked in Rams Head.
Yeah. And
then we rode on the shuttle. Not the big one that looked like the Cats bus, but the short one, not the short bus, but the one that had the shuttle, where it looked like a whole bunch of rich white people was on it.
Yeah.
Man, I'm talking about, dog. And the brother came down there. I'm vegan, but he brought us some Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Yeah. I was like, man, what you get this dude, dog?
That's that VIP treatment.
Listen, I have not been, that impressed since the last time I went to Carolina, and that was with you. And we had a good time there as well.
Times done changed. Now I got to park on the other side of campus.
Well, man,
20-minute walk to the stadium,
Yeah, man. Oh, we went to the to a student store or student
Yeah,
center or whatever.
yeah.
Went in there, all the Jordan jerseys were sold out.
Yeah.
Everybody had one but us.
Yeah.
But man, no, I thought about you the whole time, man. I said I cannot wait to get back to the pod and tell Ken that I went to Carolina.
Man, we're gonna have to go together one time.
Please, man. I went and looked up the tickets and I was surprised, man. Let's take the kids. I know you.
We can't take LG though.
Why not?
Because see, LG don't want nobody to know this, man. He went to NC State.
You know what?
I'm gonna let the secret out, man.
I keep thinking
you can't be rude. You know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to figure the thing out, man.
I thought he went to trade school. My bad. I forgot.
He did. He traded from NC State to UNC. That's exactly right. Yeah.
What's up, man? Well, I'm glad you had a good week, man. I thought about y'all.
Yeah, man. Great.
LG,
man.
You good, man?
Yeah, you good, man.
Okay.
Good, man.
You can talk, man. You ain't gotta do sign language. You good?
No, he's struggling to talk, man, because we yesterday was Lent. We started Lent.
Oh yeah, what y'all give up?
So I gave up sodas, meat, bread, sweets. I can't eat nothing. I have a piece of lettuce, man.
I gave up life.
We gave it all up, dog, man. You know, it's every year, man. 40 days, me and LG roll it out.
That's one thing I miss about being in the office with you guys, man. Before I met you guys, I never gave up anything for Lent. And since I haven't been in the office, I ain't gave nothing up for Lent. So,
but you're vegan. I mean, you do.
I'm vegan.
So that's you already there, man. That's what we do.
Yeah. I am vegan, man, but I need to give up something. Maybe I got what today, or I'm late.
No, you can still do it.
Okay.
The Lord is always.
The Lord is always.
Is always here, baby. The Lord is always here. Dog. You good to go? You can give us something right now. He'll respect that. He'll respect that, man.
Okay, man. I'll look this up. What's up, man? What we talking about? You don't have no notes today, so I already know what kind of show it's
I'm gonna be real, man.
I'm
gonna be real with it, man. Usually I'm prepared, but I had some struggles at the office with the printer.
I don't believe that.
And I couldn't get my stuff, but I'm prepared, dog. I don't play, man.
Okay, just so you know, I don't believe any of that, but okay.
That's true talk.
Listen. Oh, good.
It's on tonight, man.
Yeah.
It's on and it's scary. Man, tonight, as you know how we do, we always start. Everybody know by now, man. We start off, you got to eat them vegetables.
Yeah.
Like your grandmother said.
Yeah.
And then you get that nice dessert, you know. Banana pudding. I think LG making some banana pudding this weekend.
For real?
Yeah.
Ooh, you didn't get that up, huh?
Yeah. Okay. Some nice and sweet. That's what we're going to have for dessert. But, man, these vegetables tonight going to be scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, you know, you said it's the cage tonight. Now, we can't never, you know, it's Ukraine.
Yes, sir. Oh, the K's. The
K's.
K's. Yes,
sir.
K's.
It's Ukraine, Kanye.
Yeah.
And if we get a chance,
a little bit of Kyrie. Maybe. Yeah. We ain't promising that.
Yeah, we ain't gonna promise Kyrie. What is crazy stuff? Let's start with a C, okay?
Both.
No, I ain't about to be playing around.
Oh yeah,
Be straight.
Mike Lee told us we can't use the word crazy no more.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're talking about Let's Go Crazy with Prince or something like that.
Oh,
But anyway, we good tonight, man. But this thing is, man, I was walking into the office today.
Yeah.
And ran up on two brothers outside that we know, just talking.
Mm-hmm.
And man, they said, man, it's wild out there, man. Putin wild, man.
They're like, Putin wild.
Putin is wild. And I was like, we sat there and talked.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting the level of anxiety that we all have right now relative to what's going on across those waters, man.
Yeah, man. Putin, and even when you think about Russia, it's like that person that you know they can fight, and you never really, even though you can fight too, you never want to get into a fight with them because you both could get hurt really, really bad. And that's the thing about Putin. So, and I think that's what you're alluding to. That's what makes it really scary when you start talking about Putin and what he could do as it relates to Russia and now his invasion into Ukraine.
Isn't it tough, man, when you have one person who has the ability to affect the world?
Yes.
So you don't know what's going on with Putin. If he has, if he, is having some psychological issues, and this dude, regardless of that, man, he can affect the whole world with his decision making.
Yeah, even if it's a power trip.
Yeah.
It might not. He just could be clear-minded and could be calculated and had planned this for a long time. But you could just be born crazy. I know we're trying to stay away from that word, but it could just be that as well.
Well, I hope it ain't 1999 on that Prince thing, man. Zelensky just said that. He just said to him, who's the president of Ukraine, it just broke on the news before we left the office. He said, "This is the end of our world," talking about Ukraine. And so it's really an unnerving situation. But, you know, Jay, a lot of people don't know how this all came about. What's the deal with Putin and Ukraine and Russia?
And why do we care so much?
Yeah.
Why does the world care so much? You know, and I've always said that, you know, I love how you're able to make things like politics and law very simple for all of us to understand. So can you kind of walk through, like, why is Ukraine so important? Why should we care? And why is this such a sensitive matter that we should be thinking about or considering?
Let me start with why Putin cares.
Okay.
Which is interesting and may give some people a different slant on what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You remember there was the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
USSR.
Mm-hmm.
When they beat us in the Olympics in basketball on that last second shot.
I must break you.
Everybody used to be terrified of the USSR.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you got to the Cold War between these two superpowers.
That's right.
The Soviet Union and the United States. That's the way it was.
They still making movies today about the Cold War.
Hey, man, and Kennedy and the issues with Cuba, and everybody was on the brink of this world war between the Soviet Union and the United States. Well, the Soviet Union was a collection of states in and around Russia.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And Ukraine was one of those states.
Okay.
Way back in 2004, after those states broke away from the Soviet Union, a number of those states that broke away from the Soviet Union, I think there were 3 of them, joined NATO.
That's right.
And for the Russian, let's call it alliance, that was terrifying. Now you had former states that used to be a part of the Soviet Union of states now aligning with the West.
Yes.
But Ukraine did not join NATO. And so
they're quote unquote independent.
They became an independent state, and they were an independent state.
Yeah.
But they're formerly a part of the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
So as the years progressed, Ukraine started leaning more toward the West and NATO.
Okay.
And Putin became more and more alarmed that Ukraine would join a number of the other states who had actually joined NATO.
Yeah.
Now you would have, because the other states that had joined NATO were fairly small states, now you would have this massive country right beside Russia that was aligned with the West, but also a part of NATO.
Yeah.
And because of the way that the NATO alliance is, if in fact there was aggression by Russia against a NATO member, then the NATO members would respond collectively.
Yeah. And can I jump in right here? You know, I saw this today because I think it's hard for most of us to understand unless you've really studied or followed what's going on there. But where the Ukraine is, there's like a bunch of flat land and some mountains that's close to that. I forget the name of it, but it's just an easy entryway into Russia if someone wanted to attack Russia, and it's like you having a flank where it's open and someone could attack you, and I think that's another part of it as well.
It's got all these beautiful assets off the Black Sea and Crimea, and so. The Ukraine is a very desirable, large state that used to be a part of the USSR. So in Putin's mind, he believes that, number one, Russia has the right to the former members of the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
And that all that happened was they broke away, but at some point in time, Russia has the right to reabsorb those nations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, of course, now we live in this social media era. So people are I saw one meme. It was a meme, but it's a description that people were using, saying, Ukraine and Russia was like an abusive relationship. They were in a relationship together, and let's say Ukraine was the person that left the relationship. And then they went on and started getting some new friends and started feeling good about themselves and feel empowered. And then here comes Russia coming back like the person and said, nah, you supposed to be with me, and makes them get back into a toxic relationship.
You have to understand that there is a relationship between Ukraine and Russia. There's a relationship between the Ukrainian people and the Russian people.
Yeah.
And so the problem is that, number one, Putin believes that he has a natural right to reabsorb Ukraine. But then he felt threatened relative to the situation involving NATO.
Okay.
So he's thinking, I have a natural right to reabsorb Ukraine, but now Ukraine threatens Russia because of the potential alliance with NATO. Ukrainians long for a more Western, democratic society.
Yeah.
And in fact, if you look at some of the footage from Ukraine before the bombings, it is very much like America in many ways.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, many of the Ukrainian people actually are bilingual and speak English.
That's right.
Because they have a longing and a yearning to be in the West, whereas Putin is saying, exactly like you said, no, you all are part of us.
Yeah.
And we're relatives, and we're not going to let you align yourself with another family.
We're family.
Yeah.
It's time for you to come back home.
Yeah.
I was also seeing this gentleman was describing on the map and things the relationship between Ukraine and Russia, and they were talking about first that Putin, since he's coming to power, he longs for what Mother Russia used to be.
Exactly.
He wants to regain that power and the fear that people have for Russia. And the last thing I'll say is, I believe, what is the city called? Kyiv, I believe.
Kyiv.
They said that Kyiv is like, it was I don't know if it was the first city, but it was one of the original cities, and that, that is what, when we see Russia today, a lot of the ideologies and things came from Kyiv. Like that was the central point as far as developing Russia, back in the day. But I just wanted to say that because I think, I've heard the country Ukraine, but that's all I've known about it.
So you have a situation where you've got a leader who some people are starting to call mad. And I mean mad in a sense of psychologically. Yeah. But the truth of the matter is there is a little bit of reason to it all, and that's that he feels, like you said, that Ukraine is a part naturally of the former Soviet Union and naturally a part of Russia. And so he's retaking what should already be Russia's. Yeah. And that's how he sees that. Now, the question is whether or not this is going to play out well for him, because, at the beginning it was strange. When this all started, you thought, hey, look, Russia, Ukraine. Yeah. That is LeBron James versus a high school basketball player. Yeah. I'm talking about LeBron James now. Yeah, yeah. And there's no match there. Russia is going to come in. They're going to take over Ukraine quickly. Yeah. And Putin, and that's kind of consistent with Putin's personality. Hey, look, I'm going to dominate.
Dominate and get out.
I'm going to dominate.
Or dominate and stay.
I'm going to dominate and stay.
Yeah.
And I believe that's what most people thought was getting ready to happen.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen.
No.
Yeah. So.
No, what I find interesting at this point, you talked about, his relationship or how he views Ukraine. And, I was going to say something about just how the relationship, he just doesn't want to feel like you're getting away. It's like, this is naturally ours. I didn't know that there are like 7 nuclear plants in Ukraine as well. It's a lot going on. Now that you start to look at it and do some research on it, you can see the importance of it to him. But what's scary right now is how it's going to play out. And I think you were alluding to that earlier. How should the United States, how should President Biden, NATO, and other countries around the world react to him? And I've been tickled, I guess is the good word to use, or intrigued about the economic warfare that President Biden and NATO are doing in response to President Putin?
Well, it's been a very calculated, and it will be a very effective response because it deals with Russia's ability to interface with the rest of the world economically. But I think what has entered the fray now, because I think the end game for the West was, we'll put these economic sanctions on Russia, and Russia will basically starve economically because they're not able to, they lose their liquidity in terms of the ruble. It's going to starve out the country. They won't have the ability to bring in goods and trade and all that good stuff. I think that was the end game for Biden and the West. And it was probably going to be an effective end game at some point, because once they start feeling the effects of the sanctions and the Russian people start feeling that, the Russian people are going to start putting pressure on Putin. And I understand, I think LG was telling me tonight, one Russian oligarch tonight put a bounty on Putin's head for $1 million. You hear that?
No, I hadn't heard that, but I heard about one of the Russian oligarchs' boat being seized by France. Of course, I think they're up to 22 oligarchs that's been targeted in hopes that the pressure on them would make them say, "Hey, Putin, you need to stop," or there's some financial support or whatever however they're impacting him, that they'll put pressure on him to stop. Can I read some of the sanctions and things?
Yeah.
Okay. Just real quick, he severed, the economic warfare that President Biden and NATO have enacted have been severing the connection to the U.S. financial system, full blocking sanctions to Russia's second largest financial institutions, the VTB Bank, and 20 of its subsidiaries, full blocking sanctions on 3 of major Russian financial institutions, sweeping restrictions to impair Putin's military capabilities, restricting airspace. And you also talked about the ruble, which is the Russian currency, how it has plummeted in hours in some of these sanctions. And some are thinking that Russia is going to face double-digit inflation really, really quickly. So a question for you. Do you feel like, because I had a great analogy. I think it's great. All right. You ever seen like those after-school specials or something like Saved by the Bell, where there's a wimpy kid and there's a bully? And then the bully has a girlfriend, right? And so the bully starts picking on the wimpy kid and starts beating him up, and the girlfriend catches wind of it, and she's saying, "Biff, stop beating up on Johnny." You know what I mean? And then so what she tries to do is say, "Hey, let me you can't hold my hand anymore. Don't kiss me anymore. Don't sit beside me at the lunch table." And then she comes up with all of these things she tries to do, even threatening breaking up with him to try to get him to stop. And actually breaking up with the bully is the last resort. And I feel like this is what we have going on right now, that the United States and NATO are trying to do all these things to try to not get in a fight with the bully.
But something happened on the way to the fight.
Okay.
And what that was somebody's fault. The thing that I think everybody underestimated, Jay, is the will of the Ukrainian people. And so this was supposed to be a quick, we coming in, we gonna blow them away. It's gonna be one of those situations where Russia is gonna handle their business. And in a couple of days, Russia would take over Ukraine and their major cities. And this would be over. Russia would be in control of Ukraine. Well, the first thing that happened was Ukraine wasn't having it.
Nah. So
you look up and you get surprised because you start looking at the news and you're seeing Russian convoys and videotape of Russian convoys that have been destroyed. And Russian soldiers being killed. And you're like, wow, I didn't know that they had that type of resolve. Then you got President Zelensky coming off as a hero and being brave and staying in the country.
In these streets, let's go.
I'm in these streets, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Did you see Vladimir, the former heavyweight champion, Vladimir Klitschko and his brother
back.
So we're going back, taking up arms. You ever heard of what's his name? Lomachenko? Really popular boxer now as well. He did the same thing. It's crazy, man. I mean, it's inspiring. And I thought about it. It's like if somebody say, "All right, we coming over there to the United States. We're just gonna take over. We're gonna take over Atlanta. We're going to New York, and we just hey, it's ours." it would make people say, hold up, dog, what you doing?
Yeah, and that's what they did. They hit those streets. And then I think the raw military capabilities that have been provided to Ukraine over the years, I think a lot of people who don't know what it had been provided underestimated that. They have some weaponry that has actually been effective against Russian planes, against Russian convoys, against tanks. So they have a little bit more than what we expected. Now, whether or not it's going to be enough to hold off Russia militarily, probably not.
Yeah.
But what some generals in the United States are saying now is that Russia's like the big bear. And in fact, that was one of the symbols for Russia for a long time.
I know, right?
But they said what they did was they swallowed a porcupine.
And how that go down? Yeah.
And they said, though, look, for real. And they always going to have to deal with these pricks. Yeah. So the bottom line is that even if Russia succeeds in displacing the leadership in Ukraine, they're going to be faced with a wide-scale Vietnam-like situation for years, if not decades, because of the resolve of the Ukrainian people. Yeah. And you can just imagine, Jay, look how hard that was for the United States in terms of the conflict in Vietnam or the conflict in Iraq. Yeah. But this is on a much wider, larger scale to try to absorb that larger country with the people feeling the way that they do. I agree. That's a porcupine going down. Yeah, I want to say a couple things, and then I want to dovetail off of that about what General Petraeus said. Shout out to, what's crazy about this story, you have all of these organizations, these companies that do business in Russia, and they're contributing as well. You have ExxonMobil, who has, I think they pulled out of their 20% interest in a Russian oil company. You have FedEx and UPS, who said that they're no longer going to ship there right now. Apple is not selling any products there, as well as I don't know if you heard about this, but there's been $50 million in Bitcoin that's been raised to support and aid Ukraine. Also, your boy Richard Childress here in North Carolina is spending $1 million to provide with Ammo Inc. He's going to buy $1 million of ammo and ship it over there to the Ukraine. So you have all of these people coming together and coming up with creative ways to support the Ukraine. And Ken, I just got to tell you, this is unprecedented to me. I don't remember anything like this happening where you have so many people getting involved trying to help a country fight a superpower like that. Yeah. I mean, you mentioned, the Vietnam War and stuff like that. Have you noticed anything like this before? Never before, and hopefully never again. Yeah. But they're starting a army based or supplied by foreign soldiers in Ukraine, and inviting individuals to come in to fight for Ukraine from outside the country. This is really, like you said, unprecedented. But I'm hoping and praying that it will be successful. But you get the feeling that just the overwhelming, massive power of Russia and Russia's army eventually will wear down the infrastructure in Ukraine. And what you're going to be left with is this long, extended effort by Russia to absorb Ukraine and put in place a puppet infrastructure to govern. Yeah. And I think it's an impossibility. I don't think they'll ever be able to get to that. Yeah. Yeah. A couple quick notes too. President Biden, I think they sent $350 million in aid to Ukraine. We were talking about generals. General Petraeus said, to your point, Ken, that he doesn't think that Putin could win this war. It's just too much to try to handle, too much ground to cover over too long of a time period. And then, he said something that I ain't gonna front, it kind of scared me. He said, we have to be careful though. He said, we don't want to push Putin in a corner where he feels like he has nothing to lose. That's exactly right, man. When somebody is unpredictable and desperate, but arrogant. Yeah. You have a situation where if he gets pushed in a corner and feels like he doesn't have options but to escalate.
Like everybody can get it then.
Yeah.
You don't want to act like that.
And I think he's more than capable of doing it. I think the one other thing as we end up with this segment, Jay, is that you might find that the Russian people handle this business that they need to handle.
I think so. That's the part that I've been thinking about because, you know, what I've been thinking about, like you talk about all of these sanctions going on in that's being enacted or that will impact Russia. Sooner or later, you're gonna have like people in Russia like, bro, why are we doing this? And the only people that are the people that's suffering the most is the Ukrainian people and Russian citizens as well. So,
hey man, they had some Russian soldiers. They were asking, "Why are you?"
Yeah,
and they didn't know why they were out there. Why there's a war?
Yeah.
So you know, Putin has to be. Hey man, you never know. The Russian citizens look like they might start rising up against him.
Yeah.
But then again, let's hope that doesn't create that desperation scenario.
Last thing, of course, you know, there are Republicans that are saying that the first thing that President Biden should have done is put a block on, put an embargo on the oil trade. Russian oil is still being shipped to the United States, and that should have been cut off. So they feel like that was the heart of where he makes the most money, and we should have done that first. I am thinking that Biden, like I was saying, the bully and his girlfriend, he's trying to do is, well, you know, if he did that, then that would impact us. You know, we're already impacted by you know, gas prices and oil. Yeah. If he does that, where else does he go after that?
Exactly. You got to do it in pieces, man. I got to give Biden a little props, man. He had a nice speech last night, and I think he's been very thoughtful and calculated about this. Yeah.
Cool, man. All right.
Hey, man. All good,
man. The Putin, man. But, you know, right now, through the wire, yo, man, you want to talk about Kanye, man?
Man, that's, you know.
Hold on. First off, okay, all right, go ahead, man. I'm going to let you, you know what I'm saying? LG, man, I'm trying to save him now. Man, I'm trying to save him.
He won't let me say, you know, before we did Kanye, we should have done the greatest rapper of all time. But we're going to do Kanye tonight, man. But we, you know,
listen,
and it ain't Jay-Z, by the way,
okay,
y'all.
All right, man.
I don't want nobody to put Jay-Z on any comments or nothing. That's Jay boy, but don't put nothing that on them. Kanye and Jay-Z are not the top rappers of all time.
I don't think Kanye is the greatest rapper of all time.
Okay, good.
But the question is, who do you think is the greatest rapper of all time?
I mean, it ain't but 1, 2, dog. It ain't but 1, Tupac, baby.
Okay, go. Who?
Tupac.
Oh, so Pac is the greatest rapper of all time?
Of course.
All right, why?
Because if you combine his writing, with his social consciousness, with his delivery, best of all time.
Okay, what's his classic albums that you think he had?
It ain't got nothing to do with me. But it could be All Eyes on Me, but I'm just saying,
you know what I'm saying?
It ain't got nothing to do with it.
I'm asking, educate me. Yeah. You haven't argued. Now you
But So Many Tears is the top rap song in history.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right.
Back in elementary, I thrived on misery.
Listen, we gonna clip
Left me alone. I grew up amongst a dying breed. Come on, man.
Man, I felt that.
We can stop the show right now.
I know.
Man.
I felt that. Do the Tupac voice again.
Back in elementary, I thrived on misery.
Yeah. So
I thrived on misery. Come on. I know that's not what the show is about, but come on.
What you mean? The show is about whatever.
I thrived on misery.
I know. Jesus, Lord, have mercy.
Well, yes, sir.
Okay. All right.
And don't let me get on Dear Mama. But anyway, go ahead.
So what are the class? So you a world famous attorney.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You Magic Johnson's attorney. So I want you to go ahead and tell me, why is Tupac the greatest rapper?
Because nobody can touch the depth of his lyrics from a social consciousness.
How many classic albums does he have?
I don't know about all that, man. I just know what I feel.
You saying he the greatest rapper of all time?
Stats. I'm talking about my heart, dog. You can't do that.
Well, people in love with MC Hammer. That don't make him the greatest rapper of all time.
Come on, man. I know you didn't bring Hammer into the equation, man.
I'm saying people love Hammer.
Man, I thought this was about Pac.
It's not. I thought it was
Kanye and Jay-Z. I thought we were going to stick with the top guys, man.
I did too until you brought up Tupac. I mean, I don't know what you're saying. So do you want to do that or you want to talk about Kanye?
We talk about Kanye.
Okay.
Man. I just had to get that out first.
Hey, man. Hey, whatever you want to talk about. I'm your brother. I'm riding with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. So, man, I got to make a disclaimer. I got to do a disclaimer. I have, since 2016 or so, I have been, what's the word? I have been on strike with Kanye.
What?
Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
What? I have not listened to, purchased entertained interviews for almost 6 years as it relates to Kanye.
Man, what's the deal, man?
So number one, first thing was...
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? Yeah, so for real. And me, like a lot of other folks, and here's why. So Kanye, of course, you'll hear this line, we miss the old Kanye. So when Kanye originally fell out with Jay-Z, of course, Jay-Z my boy, so Kanye tripped. But that wasn't enough. When Kanye put on the MAGA hat, that was kind of it for me. For me, when Kanye put on the MAGA hat, and the way I saw that he was acting at the White House with President Donald Trump, it broke my heart, bro. I just couldn't stand to see him doing what he was doing up there. I'm all for anyone having their own thoughts and all that kind of stuff, but that really hurt me, and that made me fall back. But then the last thing is, he would apologize for that, and I saw him go to Chicago. He was crying, his lip was shaking, and he had the little white stuff in the crack of his lip and all that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, and then he left Chicago and did something else where it was similar to that. He did the slavery must have been a choice comment. And so, excuse me, I just finally said, listen, man, either Kanye has some type of mental health issue that we don't really know about fully, and or he's doing all of this for effect. And so that made me not just, as a fan, I just said, you know what, I liked his earlier work, I'm out on him right now. And since then, I'm talking about that's The Life of Pablo has come out, Jesus is King has come out. Like, he done had some really good albums since then. So that's where I am. But this documentary made me fall in love with him all over again because it gave so much context to the man and some of the things that we've seen him go through over the years. This provided a lot of context. So did you watch the documentary?
I watched part of the beginning of the documentary, and I was enamored immediately.
Okay, why? What was it about? What about it?
It gave, number one, when somebody is successful and wealthy, somehow you relate that to them being entitled, that they didn't go through anything. But Kanye went through everything.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like he woke up one morning and he was living in a penthouse and had $1 billion.
Yeah.
That's not what happened.
Yeah.
And so you got a chance to see him at the beginning without all of that, without all of that.
Yeah.
And just grinding, basically, man. And recording and accessible and real and down.
Yeah.
And so I love that he came from somewhere for real. This wasn't a get rich quick, get famous quick type story. He was on that grind for real. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to, we don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it already. It's a great documentary. If you don't like Kanye, you should watch it. If you love Kanye, you should watch it. It's really a story about a documentary about how he broke into the industry, like his efforts to get into the industry. And then it's also about the brother who directed it. I think his name was Cootie. Cootie was someone that that they had met earlier on before Kanye got his record deal as an artist. He was already producing for Jay-Z and others before he got signed as a recording artist. But Cootie and Kanye kicked off a great relationship, and Cootie was like, they talked about doing a documentary. What's crazy to me, Ken, is that the first two things that jumped off the page or off the screen to me was, first, I didn't know him and his mom were that close. Like, it is apparent that they were super close. And then the second thing was, Kanye been like this the whole time. Like, you think that he just started, since his mom's passing, he got like this. Or he got rich and he became like this. No, Kanye been super confident, arrogant, or whatever you want to call it, bombastic this whole time.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you, since you've seen that now, how do you see Kanye now? Because this guy is a multi-billionaire, influential, powerful guy. That doesn't erase MAGA, though.
No.
That doesn't erase the run for president.
No.
Though. So I'm saying, where do you come out at concerning Kanye now that you've seen the documentary, but you know all the things that he's been involved in or engaged in, over the past decade? Yeah.
So the first thing was, because I knew you were going to ask me that, it gave context. it filled in all the gaps that we didn't know about. So like on his first album, he has this song called Last Call. It's the last song. And he talks like for 10 minutes almost talking about his journey. And so what this did for me is, man, to have compassion for him, because it confirmed something that I put in my notes, which was, it confirmed for me that Kanye suffers from mental illness, that it took a long time. And, listen, I understand, grieving a parent is a hard thing to do, and it takes a long time. So I have compassion for him for that. And I also understand that Kanye feels how a lot of Black Republicans feel. They feel like they don't believe in the Democratic way and things of that nature. So I'm not mad at that. I just feel bad because I feel like this gentleman, like those first 3 albums happened before his mom's passing, and some of that is, revered as his best work. And since then, it's just been a trail of, this roller coaster ride of bad decisions, great music, great creativity, bad outbursts, and all these things. So for me, I still love Kanye. I just want to make sure that he gets the help he needs consistently. And if he does that, I'm with him. But and he can have his views, but I'm gonna disagree with him. I'm not as harsh as I was before, though.
Well, you mentioned one time we were talking about LeBron, LeBron James, and we were talking about LeBron and how when the community or a lot of people in the community look at LeBron, the first thing they think about is how you compare him to MJ.
Yeah.
And so you dilute the discussion about how great LeBron is.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit of that with Kanye.
What way?
The controversial things that he's done, do those things prevent us from talking about the magnificent things that he's done? Because, you can start with the B word, because it's 2 B's. Any Black that's a billionaire.
Yeah. You
have to somehow find and navigate a way to give them credit for their accomplishment. Do you think that's an issue as well?
That we need to, I feel like he's made it hard, unfortunately. Okay. He's made it hard for us to evaluate him properly. I say that as someone who loves the old Kanye. There are people, this is what's crazy to me. It's been 15 years since his mother passed away. It's been 15 years since, I know, right? It was 2007. It's been 15 years since the Taylor Swift incident. So you've had a long time, man, where he's been having to try to recover from that moment in his life. And it does make you feel compassion for him and his journey. Yeah. So I don't know if I answered your question, but yeah.
I guess what I'm asking is, does it dilute his greatness?
It has
as an artist. It has.
Yes,
okay.
Because for some, there are some people,
artist and a businessman. I'm saying, does it dilute his greatness as an artist and a business person? Yeah. Because I gotta add the business side too now.
Well, yeah. I think that's my point, or what I'm trying to articulate is that there's some folks like me who feel like, yo, that ain't Ye. That ain't the Kanye that I know. That's somebody else right there, right now. Mm-hmm. There's somebody. What my point of pointing out how long ago his mother passed away, or in the Taylor Swift situation, it has been 15 years. So you think about it. There's somebody right now who's 25 years old when he's been out since they were 10 years old, and he's been the man. Like, they don't care about none of this stuff. They don't care about MAGA. All they know is that I got Yeezy shoes, I got Yeezy slides, I got what's the joints? They got the Fear God. I got the Gap stuff. I got all of his stuff, and he's dope. And I love what's the album? I love what is it? Saint Pablo or whatever all that stuff is, man. Like, I've been so disconnected from him, but they love his music. And so all I'm saying is that I believe for me, yes, I think it's allowing some of us to not evaluate him properly, but for others, they don't care. And that's why, and I think he's been Teflon through a lot of this stuff. And that's because he's so good at what he does.
Man, the dude been Teflon, but I'm gonna also ask you this, man.
Here we go. With the tone.
Yeah, we giving him points right now. You gave him some deductions, you gave him some points.
Yeah.
But man, you're gonna have to give him. How many points we gonna give him from Kim Kardashian, man? You gotta look. I mean, you front if you want. You front all day if you want.
That's real conversation.
You know what I'm saying?
But let me drink and you go ahead and finish something up.
You know, I'm just saying, man. I mean, I'm trying to give him some points for Kim Kardashian, man. You know, that's all I'm saying. I even gave Ray J 3-4 points for Kim Kardashian. So are we giving that's an accomplishment, man. I don't care how you put it, that's an accomplishment.
All right, so I'm gonna say it like this, yo. Chris Humphries lost Kim Kardashian. Who else she messed with? A couple of people she done messed with. Who? Reggie Bush lost Kim Kardashian. One thing I know is about Reggie Bush and Kanye, he went and found another woman that looks just like her. Now, if Kanye was someone who didn't have a lot of money, Kanye a billionaire, dog. Like, he up.
He is.
Yeah. And there's some people who feel like that he didn't get the proper support. Not me. I'm just saying there's some people that feel like he didn't get the proper support from her in the first place.
I ain't asked no complex question. I just asked if he got points for Kim Kardashian. I know I'll give Reggie points. Mm-hmm. I give Kim, what's his name, Chris Humphries. I'm going to give him some points.
Yeah.
And I give Ray J some points. I just asked a simple question. Are you giving him points? Kim Kardashian, regardless of what we want to, I don't know what people want to try to say. She was recognized. She's recognized.
No, Kim bad. Like, we ain't playing Kim bad.
I mean, y'all act like I'm tripping, man.
No, I don't think you're tripping. I'm just saying, though, I think it's context. Kanye is up, about $4 billion?
Yeah.
He ain't lose nothing in the divorce. You know what I mean? Yeah. He got kids now with her. Oh, you know what I'm saying?
She one of the finest out there and one of the richest.
And that's his baby mom, so he get points for that.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. You gave Jay-Z points for Beyonce.
Definitely, but if he lost Beyonce, that would be an L. I don't think that would be a deduction, I should say, and an L. He thinks so too. Yeah. But I don't think we're charting this as an L for Kanye.
Okay.
If he lost a bunch in the divorce, possibly.
But I'm asking you if you count it as a big W from, for him. I mean, to begin with.
I think it's even. I think it's a draw.
Okay.
What you think?
I got to go back and look at the pictures about him. Because they're two Kim Kardashian just like it's two Michael Jackson.
All right, so you got to go look at the 2022 version. And the 2016
whenever their relationship kicked off.
I'm telling you, 2016, 2015.
Okay, I'm going to go back and look at the pictures and see if I'm going to give him a W.
When Kanye, back in 2015, 2016, 2017, somewhere along in there, when he was begging my man Mark Zuckerberg for money on the internet, and he lost Kim during that time, that would have been a deduction. But being up about $3 or $4 billion, no, he's straight.
He's straight. Okay. All right. I just want to ask a question, man.
And that's his baby mama. Ain't he got about 4 kids with him?
Yeah. He did his thing. That's what I'm saying. He did his thing.
Yeah.
Well, as we kind of end up here, Jay, you ain't going to escape tonight without me asking a question there, man.
What question?
You staked me out at the beginning on Tupac. So now I'm going to turn around and ask you, who is since you going to criticize me on Tupac, who is the top rapper of all time? I know.
Top rapper of all time.
Yeah, who is the GOAT? Who is the GOAT? We already know MJ is basketball. We said that Snoop and Dre was number one.
Greg Gumbel? Who is the top rapper of all time? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, man, I'm sorry.
Get your thing off. I'm sorry. I ain't anticipating right. My bad.
Who is the GOAT, man, on the rap side?
Man, it's Jay-Z, man. We don't even got to discuss that. I don't even want to entertain anything less than that.
All right, let me ask you this then, man, because you blinded by Jay-Z, but man,
I'm not.
Jay-Z made a recent comment.
See how the slander go?
No, man, he made a recent comment.
I know this is a law show.
No,
I know this is a law show, but don't lawyer me, dog.
Man, he said he didn't need to do verses.
He
said because no matter who he was on that stage,
Michael Jackson dead, ain't he?
Michael Jackson gone, man.
Prince gone, ain't he?
Yeah.
Oh, Quincy Jones? Maybe Quincy want to do it. Who else gonna do it with him?
He said Kanye, Drake.
He didn't say anything. He said there's nobody.
He said there's nobody that can get on that stage. So you rolling with that, huh?
Yeah. Name the person.
I just named 2 of them.
Who?
Drake.
Drake?
Yeah.
Okay, when name a couple songs you think.
I ain't got to do all that.
I mean, well, that's what you got to do. Hold on.
I ain't got to do all that, man. I'm an OG, man. I ain't got to name a song.
You're OG.
Yeah, that's too young for me, dog.
The old G is when you say stuff like that.
Yeah.
Listen, if you're gonna have a conversation about stuff like this, you got to be able to say, okay, when these are the songs that I think that is tough for. Excuse me, that I think that someone can't stand up to. When Jay-Z plays Can't Knock the Hustle with Mary J. Blige, you know what I'm saying? What is Drake playing? When he plays Brooklyn's Finest with him and Biggie, what is Drake playing? Like, you got to start saying, let's slow down a minute. It sounds good and funny, but until you start really looking at these records.
We don't have 3 hours to be doing
that. What else? See?
What I'm saying is, you're just going to dismiss Drake and Kanye and say they don't need to be on the same stage.
I am dismissing them.
Okay, that's all I wanted to get, man.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to get. Hey, look, y'all comment down there below the thing about Jay's craziness.
Below the thing.
Yeah.
Down there, dog.
For OG. Y'all comment below the thing for OG about Jay's craziness, saying that Kanye and Drake don't belong on the same versus stage.
Give me a song, though. Give me a song.
I ain't got to do all that. Y'all comment below.
No, in that hotline bling.
Yeah. And don't let me start bringing up Rick Rose and putting diced pineapples out there and stuff like that, dog. So, LG, we know what the top songs are, dog. I ain't got to give my list from Drake. I know what the top hits are, baby.
That's your favorite song, man.
Hey, man, you know what I'm saying?
What's the other one?
Hey, I don't Ambition by Wale or something.
What's the Flower Bomb? Lotus Flower Bomb?
Yes, sir. That Wale album.
I know your whole playlist.
But I play that every day, man.
Man, listen. I just want everybody to know Ken has been trying to bait me into a debate about who's the greatest rapper of all time. He wants me to get all upset and be blustering and spitting and going on talking about, no, it's Jay-Z. It's Jay-Z. Like, I'm not going to let him do that.
Yeah, you got academic on me tonight. That's all right. I feel you get academic. Name the number of songs. No, kid, name the songs. So I got you, man. You embarrassed me on the podcast.
No, I did, man. No, you tripping because I didn't let you embarrass me on the pod. My bad, dog. I should have let you embarrass me, man. I'm sorry. I'll play along next time, dog. Anything for the pod. As long as this thing goes viral.
Anything for the pod, dog. Man, love you, Jay.
I love you too, man.
Hey, man, had a great time tonight,
I did too, man.
Had the vegetables, man.
Yeah, man. We didn't get to Kyrie. Kyrie, man. Y'all let Kyrie play. Let Kyrie play, dog.
We might have to hit him next week, man, because it still be going on, man.
Yeah.
But great night. Thank y'all for sitting in, man, spending some time in the Black Court with us.
Yeah.
Hey, Jay, it was a good night, man.
Man, hey, beat Duke. That's all I care about.
We'll holler at y'all, man.
See you next time.
Peace.
Yeah.